Who will take the gold and who will be left out in the cold? Well, we know that the product is cold as ice. Khan's willing to sacrifice matches just to satiate the egos of Moxley and Co. Oh, they're as cold as ice. Willing to sacrifice the ratings for all time. Khan needs to be a fucking boss. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite. Winter is coming 2024 from the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Missouri. Boy, once proud Wrestling City has been reduced to some moments on the show that actually weren't that bad, but Jesus. Look at the previous Winter is Coming events and then take a look at this. Tony Khan has lost all goddamn control. I will say this, it was great that the women main evented, and the women, honestly, brought the crowd up and honestly stole the show. But it was petty theft. So, yeah, 18,000 seat capacity, they had between 4,000 and 4,500 people. Now, to be fair, that crowd did, at times, make as much noise as possible. I'm glad they're going to run smaller venues, because, Jesus. So, anyway, we start off with Jon Moxley and Pac, along with the idiots that tried to commit attempted murder against Orange Cassidy on Collision. Where were the police? Where were the fucking goddamn police? Using chemicals, using all this kind of stuff. This is not GCW. This is not some bullshit deathmatch promotion. This is an alleged number 2 big money promotion that has done some good shit. I have enjoyed going to AEW shows, but if they're going to keep doing shit like this, they're going to have to run in fucking rec centers soon. So that being said, Mox Pac, along with the other idiots, took on Jay White and Orange Cassidy, or Orange Jay, or OJ. People over the world, jump on the train, on the love train, on the love train. People over the world, bit by bit, join hands on the orange train, on the switchblade train. Yeah, can you tell I'm taking this match seriously? Well, here's what I said. Moxley really is just dragging everybody down here. I don't care if he thinks that this is good. It's not. None of this is good. This is bad, ridiculous, bargain basement bullshit. This is shit that reminds me of the NWO at its worst, or a faction at its worst. Like, a faction that's getting a lot of TV time, and it's not benefiting anybody. The commentary was Shivani, Excalibur, and Nigel. Nigel is overbearing as fuck, to the point it's not even fun heel commentary. Shivani should not be doing commentary because I think he should be doing the interviews, and Excalibur is out of his goddamn depth. They need Taz back. They need a fresh, goddamn, brand new commentary team. Put Caprice Coleman and Ian Riccaboni, even though we've had them call shows before, do something. Get other people from other promotions to call your goddamn actors. Something. They can't bring JR back because JR doesn't have it anymore. The commentary is such a detriment. It's such a way to drag any great moment down because they aren't capable of doing this right. Christian's watching in a skybox. I didn't give a shit about this match, and bless them, they're still trying with Orange Cassidy, but the stuff with Mox is fucking awful. Later, Hangman attacks and causes a DQ after 20 minutes of endless action. And then Jay White, Orange Cassidy, and Hangman get involved in the fracas, and we get a beatdown, because that's what we need. Right said Mox, the Death Riders. The Death Riders, riding the ratings down to the goddamn ground. Boom, boom, boom. I'm sorry, but just, at this point, it is a struggle to get through AEW at times. And I try to review it every single week. I don't think I've missed a show, sans one or two, and that's either due to, power outages, acts of nature, whatever, or just I couldn't get to it, whatever, for one particular week, but god damn it. Anyway, Bandito is back. He's been hitting the gym and looks in great shape. Why did they turn the Last of Us setting and, set into the goddamn, Gunsmoke knockoff? What the fuck was this? Who were those guys that were attacking him? Why is any of this happening? It's a Congetti Western. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Now you'll never unhear it. So, boy, I mean, I'm glad that Bandito's back, but I forgot that he was even still signed with the company. So, Moxley then is talking about it's a great time to feel alive when you... Something like having a knife to your throat and a stick of dynamite that's burning down to the fuse and... What? It's not even good. I don't care if they get to a point. It's not good. So it'll be a 4-way at World's End. I think we all saw that coming. Christian Cage then cuts a promo in the Skybox. This shtick is old. And then here's Hook with his cast. He busts out some sugar glass or plexiglass, or, well, not plexiglass, but some fake glass. And then beats him up. Just is leveling him with the goddamn cast. Shivani says, what a great Dynamite moment. Fuck off, Tony. Seriously. I like Tony Schiavone as far as the stuff that he did in WCW. And while he was never my absolute favorite commentator, I appreciate his enthusiasm. There is no good reason why he is on commentary now. Will Ospreay took on Claudio. Gold League match. And referee Rick Knox, who is the worst referee going today. And look, Claudio uses power. Will Ospreay, I don't know about the hair. I don't know what the fuck the hair is about. Kyle Fletcher was joking on social media that he's trying to look like him. Like, I mean, I guess. Kind of looks like Karen Ospreay. There was an arm trap in the steps. Look, the action was fine. This actually wasn't all that bad, all things considered. There was an uppercut for two. Right after an Os cutter, where Claudio rolled around the outside. But then, shortly after that uppercut, a jackknife. 1, 2, 3. So, okay, Ospreay manages to get a victory over Claudio. Now they're tied on points, but Ospreay has the tiebreaker because they did that shit in the G1, and they think, this Continental Classic I don't think is working. I really don't think they need to do it next year. Doing the annual tournament, I don't think it's going to work. But then Claudio hits Will afterwards, and then Darby shows up with a bat, and then the cameraman's confused and starts shooting everything except Darby for a few seconds. Good job there. Renee is in with Ricochet. The more Ricochet talks, the less I want to see him. I'm not saying he's not a nice guy. I'm not saying that he wouldn't be good in interviews off of a wrestling show. He should not be cutting promos. He's not interesting when he talks. So he's got MVP's card, I guess. Cool. Okay, he's going to join the Hurt Business. At least MVP could talk for him then. Where were the Hurt Business this week, by the way? So, MJF arrives. It's about time. Recaps of Jericho and Matt Cardona on Rampage. This is your bright idea. You can't have Ricky Starks at a GCW show or use Ricky Starks. You're going to ice him. You're going to ice Phoenix. Look, let me just say this. Tony Khan can do what the fuck he wants because he is the boss, for better or worse. Yes, Phoenix was injured a lot. Yes, Tony Khan paid for his time off. But if what Phoenix is saying is to be believed, and Tony is basically, botching up the whole thing about people being able to find surgeons in time and basically they, have to sit on shelves or have to arrange their own shit like Punk said he had to do. If he's neglecting his talent as far as that, just let him go. It's the Bischoff JR method. If he wants to go, let him go. I hate to say it, but now you're just being as bad as Vince. And I don't like saying that. And it's not like they're the only two bosses that have ever done that. But there comes a time where you have so many people under contract, like, okay, just let them go because the Lucha Bros aren't going to mean anything to Khan's business now, especially with the way they were booked, especially the fact Penta is gone from the company. Ricky Starks, just let Ricky Starks go. I love Ricky Starks, but he doesn't want to be there. You aren't utilizing him, haven't utilized him since that injury scare. But it turns out it was a stinger or something. He's fine. And Matt Cardona then emphasized he is always ready. He said this about 5 times in a 30-second pre-tape. And then Kyle O'Reilly is talking to Bennett and Taven. He still blames Adam Cole for what happened to Roderick Strong. I blame everybody involved for the bad booking of this whole thing. It is Adam Cole against Kyle O'Reilly. The winner faces MJF. This was sad to fucking watch. I'm sorry. It was sad to watch. Both are broken down. Kyle, at least, was sort of doing some good moves, but Cole is just not believable. It really looked like somebody that is deeply unhealthy trying to do wrestling moves. Later, MJF tries to blindside Adam Cole, but then Cole gets a roll-up. 1, 2, 3. That is the second straight match that has ended by a roll-up. Good job. So then Cole tries to go for a handshake while MJF leads through the crowd, and O'Reilly won't do it. This whole thing about friendship and this kind of stuff, this is not good. I'm sorry. This Cole and MJF stuff, it needs to end at World's End. I don't care if, injuries be damned. This thing has drug on way too goddamn long. It's not long-term storytelling. Yes, Cole had his injured ankle. Yes, he had to take time off. And now they botched up this whole goddamn thing, and it's gotten so ridiculous to where they're making me not want to watch an MJF match, which is honestly a crime, because MJF's one of the few bright spots in this company. They have great talent, like FTR. They were talking about Fight for the Fallen. It's for Hurricane Relief, and it's the first simulcast on HBO Max, and that's great. And I, honest to God, hope that it goes well. I'm still going to record it on my DVR until I see how the replay is on Max, because I have a Max subscription. If it works out, then I'll stop recording it, but nevertheless. They call out Right Said Mox for Collision. They are desperately trying to pump up Collision. I mean, Rampage is being canceled anyway. I don't think Rampage is going on after this, and to be quite honest, I really don't think Rampage needs to go on after this particular week. I really think that they should just wrap up Rampage here, have a best of on like the next 2 nights, and just call it good. So that being said, Jericho does a news report thing. Why is Jericho still allowed to plague this program? He has not been beneficial to this company for a while. Fletcher beats Okada on Collision. No, really, they thought that was a good idea. And bless Fletcher, he's trying. And Briscoe beat Garcia, and Darby beat Commander. Shivani's in with Darby in a pre-tape, and Darby's talking about how he needs to win the tournament, that Mox makes a lot of excuses or talks a lot of weird shit. And then Ricochet took on Brody King in a match that was certainly not that bad. I don't necessarily understand why in the world they went the way they went with the winner they went with, because the crowd started turning on Ricochet. Like, they were turning on him big. And this is not New York. This is not LA. This is not Chicago. This is not a defiant goddamn. It's not Pittsburgh. It's not Pennsylvania. It's not Boston. This is Kansas City. A city rich in the history of professional wrestling, but not exactly something, that... Not exactly a city where you're like, okay, they would be booing. They would just, turn on a goddamn dime. They wanted Brody King to win, and the more that Ricochet tried to fire up, the more they booed. Eventually, he hit this, spirit gun thing, this elbow or forearm strike, or whatever the fuck it is, and got the victory. He had to hit it twice. And it wasn't a bad match, but I hate to say it, if they had gone with Brody King winning, they probably would have gone better, because Ricochet just really feels like, he feels like the same as he did in WWE for the last couple of years. He just feels like another guy. He's able to do what he wants to do. That's fine. If he's happy with the money he's getting and he's happy being featured how he is, that's great. I'm not going to knock the guy. Everybody should be able to go to whatever company they want. But it's a lateral move. He just gets to work a little bit less. So, we have Private Party backstage with Leo Rush and Action Andretti in very puffy jackets. And then Top Flight shows up with Layla Gray, and those two teams face off, and the winner will face Private Party at World's End. That'll put butts in seats. All In Texas plug. Apparently they've already done over $1 million as far as ticket sales. I really do hope it succeeds. I really do hope it succeeds. But they're going to need to do a good $10 million to justify that stadium. Because that's going to be a lot of people that are going to fly in. That's a lot of goddamn tickets. That's a 40 to 45,000 seat stadium. And that's just for baseball. To put seats on the goddamn field to do that stuff, they are really going to have to try and pump up and pump the fuck up on that goddamn thing. They need to push and push their television, make their pay-per-views better, because otherwise they're going to struggle, I think, to have like a sizable crowd there. I really hope that it succeeds. But god damn it. That is dangerous to run a goddamn stadium. I'm surprised they didn't try to go for Cowboy Stadium. As hilarious as that would have been, to have about 20,000, 30,000 people in there. So then Renee is with Mercedes and Anna. I'm going to say the same thing again until Mercedes gets her fucking goddamn unworthy ass off of this program. Out of wrestling. She is disingenuous. She is not believable. She cannot cut a promo where she sounds like anything other than somebody that would rather be anywhere else. Go to fucking Hollywood. You shouldn't be there. You aren't worth half the goddamn money that Tony Khan is paying you. He could take the money that he's paying Mercedes Moné to stink up the joint every time she picks up a microphone and give a bonus to a bunch of the other women, or sign a couple other women, or I don't know, book your women properly. So anyway, a package on Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa. Renee did the narration, Renation as it were. Who will take the gold and who will be left out in the cold? Cold-blooded! Mina Shirakawa does her dance to the ring, and what a dance it is. And Mariah May got a new entrance video. And the greatest champion, according to somebody that watches this program, they know who they are. And I like Mariah, don't get me wrong. It's a running gag. It's an inside the actor's studio joke. I don't think that's how that works. But it was Mina Shirakawa, Mariah May for the AEW Women's Championship. And look, they had the crowd into it. They've done the best they can to build this thing. I'll give them credit there. They've built this thing pretty well. It's hard to ignore the fact that it has been close to almost, Portrait of a Lady on Fire type stuff. Which I wouldn't complain if they went that far. They're not going to go as far as Blue is the Warmest Color. And let's see how many more goddamn, films like that I can reference. Anything else from France that I could reference? No, I think those are the only two. Nevertheless, they have history going back to Stardom. They did enough good stuff to have the crowd into it. They hit their big moves. There was a ring post figure 4 spot, and see, that's how you do it, Bill Goldberg. But we got a Storm Zero eventually for 3. There was some nice back and forth. Don't get me wrong. Mina Shirakawa wasn't going to win this thing, but it was what it was. It was a fine main event. I'm glad the women got to main event. I fear honestly that nobody would have stuck around for this, because the beginning of this show, like the first 40 or so minutes, were really fucking bad. But that being said, Toni Storm then suddenly shows up, and she is no longer timeless as punk rock Toni Storm, rock star Toni Storm. She's back. Okay. I don't know why she's back as punk rock Toni Storm. Cool. Not going to complain one goddamn bit. Good for her. If they do have Toni versus Mariah at the pay-per-view, Toni's got to win. Nothing against Mariah May. Toni Storm's got to win, unless they're going to go a whole different route. And I do want to shout really quickly, Thunder Rosa. Poor Thunder Rosa being stuck in the front row just to do this when you could have Thunder Rosa wrestle. She made the most of it, though, with signs. Mariah, you may not, you're not my champion. And she just happened to have one ready when Toni Storm showed up and said, WTF. So, Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm in a feud? Wouldn't mind seeing that. There were parts I liked, but just so much of it, I'm just like, Tony Khan has no fucking clue what he's doing. But winter came. Boy, did it come hard. Okay, starting next year, guys, I am going to pick and choose when I review Dynamite after work on Wednesdays and when I just wait until Thursday morning to do it. Because, guys, I'm kind of running out of goddamn wind, and I'm running out of patience with some things in AEW. I'm running out of patience in general, so if I feel the burnout, and if I project a little bit of burnout, I do apologize. I have enjoyed wrestling. I will continue to enjoy wrestling, but I'll offer an update video later. That being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rentlin. I'll see you soon.